Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of insights, articles, research, and give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're plunging into a real classic. It holds surprising relevance, I think, for our fast-paced, maybe overwhelming world. Raymond Charles Barker's The Power of Decision.
Yeah, it's quite something.
It really is. And it's not just a book, is it? It feels more like well, almost a revolutionary manual for actually taking charge of your life. First published way back, 1968, later revised. Our sources today, they include some really compelling excerpts from the book itself, plus perspectives from people deeply influenced by Barker's teachings, like the foreword by Dr. Lloyd George Tupper and an appendix by Professor Pamela Gray.
Right, those add some great context.
Definitely. So our mission today is to sort of extract the core, maybe transformative principles, the ones that let us overcome indecision, harness our inherent intelligence, which we often underestimate, right?
Absolutely.
And consciously create the life we really want. What if the key to unlocking, well, everything from tiny daily choices to our biggest dreams was simpler than we thought? Just waiting inside our own minds, kind of begging to be recognized. Let's find out.
Sounds good.
So Barker kicks things off with a truly radical idea, one that might, challenge everything you thought you believed about yourself. He says, and I'm quoting here, "You are intelligence, capable of knowing the right idea at the right time to make the right decision."
Wow.
Yeah. He suggests our natural state isn't flawed, it's not problematic at all.
And what's fascinating here is how Barker anchors this. He talks about the infinite mind.
Infinite mind.
Yeah, essentially it's this universal intelligence he believes we're all created from. The real takeaway for you listening is that, according to Barker, problems aren't inherent. They're not part of our design or the universe's.
So where do they come from then?
Well, he says they arise when unintelligent factors, things like worry, fear, hate, resentment, get introduced into our consciousness. He actually sees the universe itself as foolproof, operating with perfect law and order.
Foolproof.
Foolproof, which means our troubles, our problems, are a direct result of what he calls our own wrong decisions.
Okay, so if we are fundamentally intelligence and the universe is foolproof, what does that really imply about our struggles? It sounds like he's shifting the entire blame, maybe not blame, but responsibility, from external stuff to our internal choices.
Precisely. That's the core of it. It really raises a huge question for us. What if our struggles aren't fundamentally who we are? What if they're just a misuse of the inherent intelligence we already possess?
That perspective gives you immense control, doesn't it?
It really does. And Barker even offers a powerful spiritual treatment for this. It's a simple affirmation designed to kind of rewire your thinking. I am pure intelligence, always acting intelligently.
I am pure intelligence, always acting intelligently.
Yeah. It's about consciously choosing to return to that default powerful state he believes is ours.
Okay, let's dig a bit deeper into this indecision thing. We often think of it as just being unable to choose, like a passive state, right? But Barker completely turns that on its head. He asserts indecision is actually the individual's decision to fail. That's quite a statement. How does he define that decision to fail? Especially when it just feels like we're stuck.
It's a really crucial distinction he makes. Barker argues that even not deciding is a decision in itself. It's an unconscious choice, perhaps, to let circumstances or maybe someone else decide for you. And that often leads to outcomes we don't want.
Yeah.
He suggests these patterns often start really early, like in childhood, maybe through, parental domination or overprotection, where a child just isn't allowed to make their own decisions.
So they never learn to trust their own judgment.
Exactly. They never develop that muscle, so to speak.
That's such a striking image, almost heartbreaking, isn't it? How deeply ingrained these patterns can become. It makes you wonder how many of us are still, in little ways, letting someone else pick out our outfits in life.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Barker suggests many of us become chronic advice seekers.
Chronic advice seekers.
Yeah, we inadvertently give away responsibility for our own minds. Barker strongly emphasizes that the answer is within. Your consciousness, he argues, is fully equipped. It can express your unique self, but you have to actively realize that. You have to own that ability instead of constantly looking outside yourself for direction.
So stop asking everyone else what they think first.
Pretty much. Or at least weigh your own inner knowing more heavily. Think about that simple act, choosing a meal in a restaurant. Barker describes someone avoiding their own decision, asking a friend, so what are you going to have?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen or
Yeah.
done it.
Right. And then they just order the same thing. Or that incredible anecdote he shares about a woman in her 40s. Because she had a domineering mother in childhood, she was still, as an adult, unable to buy her own clothes.
Seriously, her husband did it?
Her husband did all her shopping. It just highlights how deeply these patterns can embed themselves, subtly draining our power, our ability to just be ourselves.
Yo. Okay, so if indecision is that detrimental, then decision itself must be incredibly powerful. Barker calls it the most important function of the individual mind. Why? Because no creative process can begin until a decision is made.
Exactly.
So what exactly happens then when we do finally make a decision? What's the mechanism?
This ties directly into what Barker calls mental law. You can think of it like an impersonal, automatic operating system for your mind. Universal law.
Like physics, but for the mind.
Kind of, yeah. It doesn't judge. It just executes the programs or the beliefs you impress upon it. His fundamental principle states, what you place in your subconscious mind must appear in your experience. Your subconscious, he says, cannot refuse to service you.
Cannot refuse. Okay.
Barker illustrates this really beautifully. He describes deciding to write a specific chapter, maybe on a lazy summer day. Once that decision was truly made, he realized, every right idea will flow into my consciousness.
So you don't need the whole plan mapped out first.
No, you don't need to know how the final result will come about. That's the job of the subconscious. It's almost like, giving a clear order to a highly efficient, unseen assistant. It just goes to work.
So what this means for you listening is the key is really to authorize your subconscious. That's a phrase he uses, right?
Yes, authorize it.
By consciously, definitively making a decision, you set this powerful inner mechanism into motion. You stop procrastinating, you activate your inner creator, and you trust that the how will actually unfold.
That's the essence of it. Trust the process once the decision is made.
Now, if our subconscious is so powerful in manifesting our decisions, who exactly is doing the deciding? Barker takes us even deeper here. He invites us to explore a self far beyond what our five senses usually tell us. He calls it the invisible, immeasurable you. That sounds profound. Can you help us grasp what he means by that?
It's definitely a shift in perspective on our very being. He suggests a simple exercise you can try right now. Just close your eyes, relax for a moment, and try to pinpoint exactly where your skin ends and the space around you begins.
Okay, trying that.
You'll realize you can't truly measure it, can you? There's no distinct line.
No, not really. It feels connected.
Right. And that experience, Barker says, gives us a glimpse into what he calls I am consciousness. It's an awareness of ourselves, not just as a body, but as an activity of thought and feeling that extends into infinity. It's unconditioned by time or space.
Wow, okay. That's a big concept. I am consciousness.
It is. It's about recognizing your true, boundless nature.
So, if we aren't limited by our physical selves, what does that mean for the limits we tend to place on our decisions? How does this, expansive view of self empower us in a concrete way?
Well, this true thinking, as he calls it, becomes a crucial turning point. It helps us reverse those old mental images, let go of past limitations, future fears. If you start to see yourself as measureless, infinite, suddenly the problems that seem so overwhelming, they start to shrink in comparison.
Because you are bigger than they are.
Exactly. Barker quotes Emerson saying, "The world conforms to original thinkers. They never conform to it." It's about realizing your innate capacity to originate your experience, to be the cause, rather than just reacting to effects.
That's a powerful thought. We don't have to conform to the world. We can actually shape it through our thinking and deciding.
Is his premise?
So how do these profound ideas translate into, tangible improvements in our daily lives? Barker breaks it down into distinct areas, showing how conscious decisions can transform things. Let's start with happiness. Most people look for it externally, right? But Barker insists it's an inside job, a change of consciousness.
That's absolutely right. Happiness, he says, is a spiritual constant. It's already endowed within you. You don't have to get it, you have to realize it.
So deciding to be happy, that actually works.
According to Barker, yes. Deciding to be happy and affirming that happiness is your state right now prepares the way. He even says something quite provocative. The seeming lie is preparing the way for the truth.
Meaning, fake it till you make it.
Sort of, but deeper. It means that even if you don't feel it initially, the conscious decision to embody happiness sets your internal machinery, your subconscious, in motion towards that state. He also warns strongly against boredom.
Boredom. Why boredom?
He calls it a destructive state. He uses this analogy of an old phonograph endlessly playing the same scratchy record in our minds, spreading mental bacteria. Boredom signifies a lack of decision, a lack of engagement with life's potential.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there's rich living, or prosperity. Barker asks, the grandeur of life is known by the few when it should be known by the many. What does richly truly mean in his philosophy? Is it just about money?
Not just money, no. It's much bigger. It's about moving beyond a mindset of scarcity, of lack, to one of abundant flow. He calls it divine extravagance.
Divine extravagance, I like that.
Yeah. Barker suggests that instead of hoarding or fearing lack, we should view prosperity as this natural, generous outpouring, an idea of circulation and ease. Money isn't the ultimate goal. It's more like God in action, he says, an energy, a tool for living fully, experiencing that grandeur.
So it's about the flow, not just having a big pile.
Exactly. Genuine prosperity, he argues, comes from developing healthy money patterns, integrity, and recognizing that money is process, not goal.
Okay. And what about health? Barker asserts health is our normal state, and illness is an abnormality. He even suggests many illnesses are psychosomatic in origin. Now, this is a pretty strong claim, isn't it? Especially today.
It certainly challenges conventional thinking, absolutely. And it's important to frame this within Barker's broader philosophical framework, For him, healing relies heavily on a conscious decision to be well, coupled with a strong expectation of health.
Because the subconscious controls the body.
That's his reasoning. Your subconscious mind, which regulates the body's functions, can only create out of your own beliefs. So if you believe in illness or expect it,
you might manifest it.
That's the idea. And Barker offered some truly remarkable, almost unbelievable stories from his teachings to illustrate the extreme power he believed the mind possessed over the body.
Like what?
Well, there's the account of Dr. Nona Brooks back in 1897. Barker claims she healed a farmer's wife's broken leg simply by knowing and firmly expecting her to be well, without medical intervention.
Wow. It's hard to fathom today.
It is. But it's an incredibly powerful example of the kind of belief and decision Barker saw as possible, really challenging our limits. He also observes, maybe controversially, that sometimes people unconsciously enjoy sickness because it brings attention, or maybe feels like a paid vacation from responsibility.
That's uncomfortable, but maybe has a grain of truth sometimes.
Perhaps. His point is that a healthy mind believes in more good than evil, actively pictures perfect health, and works to erase limiting beliefs, like age conditioning.
Fascinating. Okay, and finally, creativity. We often think, oh, that's for artists, innovators. But Barker insists creativity is inherent in everyone.
He fundamentally believes that, yes, our routines, while efficient, can really stifle this innate creativity if we just let them run us on autopilot.
So break the routine.
Sometimes. He encourages curiosity as a vital mental action. He warns against mental calcification.
Mental calcification.
Yeah, like a hardening of the mental arteries. A closed mind that just resists new ideas. He loved Emerson's quote, "Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist." That perfectly captures the spirit of self-exploration, original thought. Barker even called it mental shock therapy.
Mental shock therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. Consciously breaking out of old mental ruts.
Exactly. Shaking things up internally.
So after exploring all these really powerful concepts, well, what does this mean for you listening right now? How do we actually do this? Barker provides practical tools, right, to help us make these shifts.
He does. He places great emphasis on what he calls spiritual treatment, which is basically using affirmative statements, powerful ones. For example, declaring aloud, actually saying it, "I've decided to be happy."
Not just thinking it.
Saying it gives it power, impresses it more deeply. Or stating, "My subconscious mind now accepts these statements and acts upon them." This isn't just, wishing. It's a conscious, firm instruction to your subconscious.
Like programming.
Exactly. You're instructing it to dissolve old limiting patterns and replace them with new, empowering ones. It's about taking command of your inner dialogue.
Okay. And he had a plan, didn't he? A success plan.
Yes, the Power of Decision success plan.
Yeah.
It involves 3 key activities for making what he calls a depth decision. A decision so profound it actually transforms your experience.
Okay. What are they?
First, letting go of limiting thoughts. This means actively observing what's holding you back, what's making you lame or causing you pain. Pay attention to that inner monologue when you face a challenge. Then, once you identify it, actively choose to let it go. Release it.
Easier said than done sometimes, but okay. Number 2.
Second, focusing on mighty potentials. Identify the ideas that generate the most excitement in you, the ones that most fascinate, or maybe those ideas that just keep reoccurring in your mind. These, he says, are your greatest assets. They're like your inner guidance system pointing toward your truth.
Lean into the excitement, the fascination. Got it. And
Third, using affirmative statements daily. Consciously replace that old negative self-talk with powerful life-affirming statements. Things like, I was born to be happy, or my satisfaction runs deep. Whatever resonates with the positive state you're deciding to embody.
so it really is about active mental discipline, isn't it? Not just passive hope.
Exactly. The whole process hinges on, and this is key, shifting your attention from your concern with the problem and give the same amount of thinking and feeling to your awareness of yourself as intelligence in action.
Focusing on the solution, the potential, the you that can handle it.
Yes, this makes you the deciding factor in your own consciousness. You take full conscious responsibility for what you create in your experience.
Wow, what a journey through the power of our own minds. Barker's work, it really invites us to a profound shift in perspective, doesn't it? It almost feels like he's saying, we're not just passengers watching our lives go by.
No, we're the pilots.
We're the pilots, yeah. Our mind is indeed a divine instrument, as he says, capable of such precision and dexterity if we learn how to use it.
It absolutely is. And remember his core idea. You are a unique representation of an infinite source. You're always free to fail or free to succeed. The valley of indecision and the mountaintops of decision are both available to you.
We choose where we set up camp.
Essentially, yes. You determine the size of the cup that life fills for you. It really all boils down to what you decide you're capable of receiving and creating.
So the question for you listening is, what decision will you make today, right now even, to unleash your potential? What immediate, maybe small step can you take to reclaim that power within? Remember, the truth of your being, according to Barker, is an infinite possibility. What grand idea may be lying dormant right now inside your consciousness will you choose to awaken and act upon? Knowing that, as Barker powerfully reminds us, what mind can conceive, man can achieve.